Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob, and today I shall be attempting to take this Matchbox Car Transporter accessory pack number 2 from shabby to shiny. Now, usually I do the kind of twirly thing to start with, but this is just too big, so you kind of get to see it here, you know, being played with as it should be. I've got some cars still to be restored. You know, it made it look pretty cool, but this is, I would say, probably my favourite piece within my collection. Certainly the most expensive that I kind of paid for. Yeah, it's an absolute gem, this one. As you can see, it just pops on there, comes apart nice and easy. You know, it's a relatively simple and basic car transporter, this one. It's from the late 70s, the late 50s even, to early 60s. A little bit of corrosion on the axles or the shafts there. Thankfully, they're not the crimped ends, which I find more difficult to get off. These ones just been kind of hammered over and are relatively easy to kind of take it down, but very cool. But underneath it does read Matchbox Car Transporter accessory pack number 2, made in England by Lesney. As I say, I think these were made between 1957 and 1962. Just one little rivet on the back, but we don't have much room to play with drilling it out or tapping it, so a bit of a different method on today's video. To be honest, a lot of today's video is going to be very different to the norm, and that is really due to the size of this thing. Now, I will be replacing the decal here, but I've got a slightly different design that I'm going to be going with. Now, I'm not too sure where the difference is on the years of the decal, but I actually prefer the one that I've replaced it with. So, yeah, that's why I've gone for that one. But we'll just drill out this rivet. And I prefer to go little by little. Just about take off enough to pop it through that hole. Like I say, I'm not going to be drilling this one out, so I almost want to just be able to kind of pop it back in after repainting and not have to do anything else. But these wheels are in the way, they're just holding it on, so I kind of took off the little ends there. There's like almost like a little burr on the end. With my rotary tool, or I use my drill in this instance because I'm out of a rotary tool at the moment, and my regular viewers will know the story behind that. So doing a little bit of a mend on the job here, as I noticed these were kind of bent in a little bit, so just straightened them up just with my thumb. Tell you what, for a thin piece of metal, put up quite a fight actually. So all the wheels thankfully in good condition. I'm going to pop those into some warm soapy water, and I actually just left those in overnight just to soak through, and they look brand new now. The axles here, yeah, a little bit rusty, and I'll show you later on kind of how I do it, but yeah, just pop it in the end of the drill and use a bit of sandpaper. But anyway, well, let's strip this paint off. Now, normally I go with caustic soda, but this is a bit too big, so I felt, and a little bit difficult using this paintbrush that gone all wild, but actually you can see there, just, you know, kind of in front of your very eyes, you will see the paint just coming off. I was so excited at this. I've used this paint stripper a few times and it's either not worked or not worked very good. But yeah, big thumbs up, very excited. And not too long later, we found ourselves with the casting with all the paint removed. Now again, because of my rotary tool is out of action, I'm going to be using some wire wool just to kind of buff it up a little bit, ready for the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer. So trying to get into all the angles, especially on the inside of this cab. There's no interior or interior glass for this car, so you do have to make sure that, you know, the paint is perfect on the inside and out. And you'll see in the reflection, smooth as a baby's butt. Holding this one relatively gingerly. As you can see, I've held it on to the rivet. Got about 3mm to hold on to, so thankfully it weren't a heavy piece, so there was no fear of, you know, it coming undone. But of course it's always sod's law, especially, you know, I've painted bits and pieces before and then dropped it and you just think, how's your luck? But yeah, that went on pretty nice. This one's going to be tough. Now there's nothing to hold on to that's not going to be seen in the final finish. So the best I could come up with was shoving a pair of forceps, forcing it through the hole, because like I say, everywhere else is going to be seen and I don't want to be touching it up later on. You know, I want this to be as good as I can do it, and to be honest, I don't know whether I could say that it's perfect, 100% perfect. I think to most people they would say it is, but me being a perfectionist and literally doing this day in day out, I don't take a day off. You know, I'd say it's a good 95%er. And I'm not going to complain about a 95%er. Maybe if I get bored one day and I get through the rest of my other 1,000 cars, I can redo it and make it 100%. But nah, realistically, you know, it's in front of me right now as I watch the video and do this voiceover. And I do these voiceovers in one take, start to finish. Hopefully I don't sod it up, so I have to start again. Now you can see what I certainly should have done is worn a glove on this one. And I did learn my lesson and done it on the paint. Now this is a TS23 in light blue. And you can see I've got my marigold there. Now I bought this paint specifically for this trailer, and for my regular viewers, you would have seen me use this paint on a Mazda RX-7 about 5 or 6 videos ago, and it really is a beautiful colour. A little bit darker than the original, but I'm okay with that. Bear in mind, these kind of restorations, or when I do customs, they're only for my own benefit. You know, I don't sell any of them. I give quite a few away. I've probably given away 10 or 12 different cars now to friends and family, and also to some subscribers. You've seen me do my unboxing videos, or some people say, oh, you know, there's something in your unboxing that I wouldn't mind having myself. And, you know, in return, they send me a few of their cars, and, you know, I've sent them the kind of bits and pieces that they like in my unboxings. Plus, you know, I gave them, you know, for the most part, I give them a little one of my own as a little surprise. You know, I can't keep them all. I haven't got room for them all. So I need to do something with them. Actually, my boss recently mentioned perhaps doing, I don't know, kind of donating them to a toy museum, which I thought was a good idea. Like I say, I've got no real interest in the selling them for the monetary side. I think it would be pretty cool to see them in a toy museum. So we're just kind of chewing the fat, having a little chat whilst we do this painting. You could skip forward a few minutes if you wanted to, but you know, I wanted to show all the paint process for this one. Very awkward. What I did find on the first coat of paint is, I don't want to say that it reacted, but it was almost like any what was it? It's like any kind of crease or any piece that was protruding, the paint didn't stick properly, and I found to have light spots and dark spots. It actually was quite a cool effect, but I didn't want that effect for this casting, so I was a bit concerned, to be honest with you. But thankfully, after I left it for probably half an hour to dry, and I have a radiator next to me, and I hang them over the radiator so it accelerates the dry process and it kind of bakes on the paint. But with the second coat, yeah, it made a big difference. It kind of, I guess, lightened it up even, but certainly made it more of a proper coat. You know, there was no light or darker shade. It was just a nice even coat. So this is the following day. This is after 2 coats, and I think you'll agree that looks pretty nice, and it is very shiny. There's no lacquer required for this one. You know, I could do it, but just really don't feel that it's necessary. But I'm going to now add the Matchbox car transporter decals onto the side of the trailer now, and I think you'll agree that looks pretty good. And then just with my silver paint pen, I'm going to paint in the grille section and the front headlights. It's a little bit different from the stock, but I actually prefer it like this. Less is more. And here's the wheels now. Like I say, probably been in the like the fairy liquid or the solution for 24 hours, so they come up really nice. And I've just shoved into my drill the first axle, and I just wanted to kind of show you how quick and easy it really is. And this little bit of sandpaper, or a sanding pad, I picked up, and I've literally got a whole bag of them, all offcuts. And it cost me about £5 or £6 delivered, and it's enough to last me a lifetime. So as you can see, that looks good as new. And then there's all 4 axles. Now, wheels tend to have a good side and a bad side. To be honest, with this one, actually, both sides were as good as each other. So, you know, got pretty lucky. So I just popped in the wheels on, pushed them through to one side of the axle. And you can see they're nice and shiny on the ends, looking brand new. And I'm going to put all this together now, off camera, and you can wait for the final reveal. But as a little reminder of what she looked like, and this is the result. Again, not using my rotating table thingy-majig. This is just literally too big for it. So I'm just going to show, you know, myself, my inner 7-year-old, wanting to play with this. And as you can see, I've replaced the cars on it as well. You know, gone are the need to be restored cars. Here are some of my restored cars that you'll see on my channel. If you haven't seen these, check through the archives. All of these cars you'll see on my channel. But really happy with this. This is it always has been my favourite casting. Like I say, the one I paid most money for. I think it's beautiful, and it's going to go straight into my display cabinet, and yeah, that's going to stay with me forever. But anyway, just want to thank my patrons, and thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll stick around for the next one.